Hello. Thank you guys so much for all of your support and words of encouragement. I'm LaPortia Mitchell, author, of Saving Grayce, the novel. And after being out for some time, I think it was time for me to really get this book out here and show people that Saving Grayce has nothing to do with it's not self-help or anything like that. It's actually about the Grayce family and how the death of the main character, Parker Grayce, actually ends up saving the Grayce family. So we are continuing on with chapters 2. I think I'm going to go to chapter 3 also, but I'm just uploading the chapters for you guys. So this chapter is chapter 2. It's titled The Show Goes On. As we know, in most cases, once you lose a loved one, life does continue to move on, no matter what. So this, again, is coming from the point of Paloma, who is Parker's older sister. Let's get into it. After the funeral, it was time for everything to get back to normal. You can't grieve forever, right? I had a huge Christmas fundraiser coming up while still handling my everyday requests and clients. I know Parker's job was not the same without her, but her friend Kim did a great job attempting to fill her shoes after her death. Kim was her Blackanese party partner. They met in high school and were two of the only girls of color attending the prestigious prep school, which was a norm in those times. Whenever she was having one of her bad days, and even if she wasn't, Kim could be found by Parker's side. She was very loyal. They went to the top parties and were VIP at the most exclusive clubs in St. Anna. Kendrick would call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. I even remember them dressing up in sexy outfits once for Halloween, imitating Dr. Seuss's dynamic duo. Kim's father kicked her out after their senior year in college once he found out she was not dating a Korean man. She tried to explain the difficulties of finding a Korean man who understood and welcomed her mixed background. She thought her father would be more understanding since her mom was black, but no. It had everything to do with Kim's mom abandoning her and Mr. Young when she was 3. Her mom had a horrible drug habit and ran off with a local dope boy. Kim nor her father have seen her since. They aren't even sure if she's still living. Once he kicked her out, she appeared at the doorstep of Parker's 1-bedroom apartment. They had been inseparable ever since. Whenever I saw her, I would encourage her to reach out to her father and repair the relationship, no matter how many years had passed, especially on Father's Day. I always threw a huge fundraiser to honor the dads and raise money for one of the local chapters of the Big Brother program. I would say, "Hey Kim, you know it's never too late to love on your dad." She always responded with, "You just don't understand." I would smile and give her a hug, trusting her word. After college, it was pretty easy for Parker to find a place to work. We were connected. She had always been intrigued with plastic surgery, finding it fascinating and liberating. I knew Mariah Stanford, a surgeon from college. We pledged together and ran in the same circle of philanthropists, politicians, doctors, and other wealthy men and women in the area. I did not finish college after getting pregnant with my daughter, but I always had a knack for decorating, and my designs would impress anyone who had the privilege of attending one of my lavish charity events, turning my hobby into a very lucrative career. I mentioned to Mariah my baby sister had just graduated from Hackman and is looking for work locally. Mariah was excited, sharing with me and her twin brother Mitchell had just opened a new office in St. Anna and would love to bring Parker on as an office manager. She asked to have her resume sent over to Naomi, her assistant. Shortly after settling into her new position, Parker was able to get Kim a job as an assistant in the growing office. While Parker began managing one of the largest cosmetic plastic surgeon offices in St. Anna, Kim fell hard for a knucklehead named Christian. He was a spoiled rich boy. His parents owned the largest luxury car dealership in the city. The Carters catered to high-end clients with lots of money and plenty of glamorous, hard-to-find collectible cars. He never went to college. Christian Carter was expected to take over the family business if anything ever happened to his father, so he was groomed as such. He received a crash course immediately after high school and studied under the best of the best when it came to accounting, lawyers, and customer service. There was just one small problem. Christian had an addiction to pretty girls and pain pills. He would spend his days studying and stay up all night partying. Him and Kim met at a New Year's Eve party one year. They had been inseparable ever since. His parents liked Kim. Their grandbabies would have pretty eyes and prettier hair, as his mom Courtney would often say. Eventually, Kim moved from my sister's couch to a 2-bedroom apartment in the city with Christian. Things were looking good for her. I stopped by Parker's office to finish cleaning out her things. It would be hard for Mariah and Mitchell to find someone as young as her with the killer work ethic she was known for, but I knew the show must go on. They would surely have potential hires in the office in no time. I mean, plastic surgery was on the rise and more popular than ever. The numbers do not lie, and finding the right replacement for her in such a short notice would be essential to keep the company afloat. As I arrived at the skyscraping building in the heart of the city, I took a deep breath. I had never entered the office without seeing my sister's smiling face. I gave valet my keys and headed in, taking the elevator to the 18th floor. In the elevator, I met Kim, wearing a breathtaking Versace scarf. It was eye-catching but unusual because it was at least 80 degrees outside. It was still early and the office was closed. She used her key to let us in and began turning on a few lights. The office was very welcoming, a very clean layout with hues of gray, very modern displaying artwork of local, very modern displays of local artwork from local artists. They even offered patients and potential patients a zen room to relax. The room had a fine selection of teas, coffee, champagne, water, and fresh fruit. Stanford & Associates was the premier and hottest plastic surgery office in the area. People came from far and near to be nipped and tucked by twin surgeons Mariah and Mitchell. As I grabbed some tape from the front desk, I asked Kim, "Now, why do you have a scarf on in 80-degree weather?" She laughed, but she knew I wasn't joking. I knew all too well the ins and outs of covering black eyes and hiding bruises. Before I met my husband, Phoenix's dad knew how to express his love all over me. He would cry and I would take him back. I knew I could love him and fix him. I knew his anger stemmed from childhood hurts and abandonment issues. I wanted him to be okay. I wanted to save him. She looked into my eyes. I could tell she was tired. He says he loves me and he won't do it again. He just gets so upset with his parents and drinks, pops pills, then drinks some more. The pressure to uphold the family legacy and relationships get to him, she said. "Don't make excuses for him, Kim," I responded. "I'm not. He loves me. He loves us." She looked down and held her belly. "Are you expecting?" I exclaimed. She dropped her head and whispered, "Yes," looking around to ensure none of her other coworkers had entered the building. "I'm 8 weeks along. I haven't told anyone. He told me he is going to stop drinking for the baby." She leaned into my arms and wept silently for a few minutes. At this time, I didn't feel the need to fuss. I wanted her to know I'll always be there for her and the baby, just as Parker would have wanted. She continued prepping the office for the 8 a.m. opening time. She gave me the key to Parker's office and I hesitantly entered in. I looked around and there were many pics and frames with the words family, friends, and love outlined on them. She loved her family and friends with everything within her. Even when things got rocky for her, she always had a support system. We never knew how deep her pain went and how much her smile covered. I finally made my way to her last drawer, and suddenly the smaller pink key made sense. I used it to open the desk drawer, and there, with the phrase, "Anything is possible," written across in gold, I found what appeared to be a journal. I threw it in with the rest of her things and made my way out of her office as Mariah entered the building. "Oh, wow. Hi, Paloma. I didn't think I would see you here so soon," she exclaimed as she leaned in to hug me. "Yes, I had a few errands to run in the city, so I decided why not get this daunting task over with." I gave a slice of a smile. "I understand. It's so unfortunate about your sister's untimely death. I wish I would have known she was feeling so alone and helpless." "It's not your fault. We all wish we would have done more," I assured her. "Well, let me know if you or the family need anything," she stated. "Thank you, Mariah," I exhaled. I hugged Kim goodbye and assured her once more if she needs anything to get in contact with me. As I began my day, the journal was all I could think about. I looked up to the sky and asked, "Is it okay if I read it?" I knew for sure I would be doing that night. I just hoped my heart was ready for whatever my eyes would read. That's the end of chapter 2. Alrighty, we will get into chapter 3 shortly, titled My Favorite Love Song.